Healthy coping mechanisms for self-harm. I self-harm. I had two forms of self-harm. I would physically hit myself, and that was the failure trigger, that I failed in life and that I needed to be punished. And I also would burn. And when I burn, I mean, I still have scars right here from lighters that I would burn. And that was that I had to feel reality. I was feeling numb. I had to feel. I had this desire, this urge just to feel. And so I burned myself so I could feel. And the shitty part about it is, well, I mean, this scar right here is probably 15 years old, that we're left with these scars. And people will notice our scars. And so it's finding healthy things that we can do that trigger kind of the same feelings, but yet we don't have those scars. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a counselor. I deal with ADHD, I deal with PTSD, GAD, MDD. I take medications, I see counselors and therapists. One of the things I found that helps is glue, and it's Elmer's glue is my favorite, just because with Elmer's glue, what you end up doing is you just take it and you smear it on your arm, and then you just wipe it in. And the reason that you want to wipe it in is it starts your focus onto your body, and you feel yourself touching yourself, and you feel movement on your body, which starts some of the feelings that we had of wanting to feel. It's giving it to us. The other thing is now as we're waiting for it to dry, we're probably going to get frustrated that it's not drying quick enough. So instead of this whole urge to feel, now we're focused on the glue. We're out of our thought process of what's triggered us to want to self-harm. We're focused on our arm and on this glue drying. It shifts those thoughts. It's all about shifting those thoughts, at least for myself. And I can only say this from personal experience. Getting my thought onto this and out of the urge that I have to feel something, that I'm numb and that I have to feel, to why aren't you fucking drying, motherfucker, is a lot better release than next thing you know, I'm sitting there burning lighters and fucking sticking them on my arm. And then the next day I have scabs and I'm bleeding through my shirts and I'm ruining shirts by it. I'm waiting for this to dry. And then once it dries, I mean, you can't even see it, but what you do is you peel it off. Oh, do you hear that? There's something healing actually and forgiving about that sound. Like it has that sense of sound going. It has this sense of touch. I can feel it coming off my skin. I can feel. And now I have it in my hand and I can roll it in my hand. And it's activating all these different senses where I'm not sitting here watching blood coming out of my arm, or I'm not watching my arm start to blister up, but I'm getting the same sensations, almost in a way pleasured and fulfilled. There's usually an underlying reason behind it. That's where, you got to get with a therapist or you got to get with a counselor to find out why you're self-harming. But even until then is finding these mechanisms that, listen, I mean, it sounds like tape coming off, but that's the glue. And it's literally like I'm peeling my skin off and you can't see it, which is the best part. And it activates all those senses. And I take a couple deep breaths and you know what? I'm getting my sense of feel down. I don't need to hurt myself now. I've made it through the moment of wanting and the desire of wanting to self-harm to it now being okay. And now moving on with my day, not beating myself up because I relapsed on self-harm. And I was self-harm free for 9 months and I relapsed on it. And next thing you know, because I relapsed on it, I feel like I let people down and I feel like a failure. And because I let people down, they can't know about this. And now I have to not talk to some of my friends because I let them down. And even if you do relapse, remember this, you ain't fucking letting anybody down. You ain't fucking letting anybody down. You aren't. It's a fucking battle. The more that you share your fucking battle scars, we wonder why we lie to our fucking doctors and our counselors and everything, because we think they're perfect, and none of us are fucking perfect. We all find different things in life that we're struggling with, and the more that you share, the more that somebody else out there is going to be able to relate. And then you find coping mechanisms like this that next thing you know, you're able to fight through the urge to want to self-harm. You fight through it, and you know what? You're left with no scars. And then you feel kind of proud of yourself. You celebrate the small victory. I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, that's what my channel's about. It's all mental health, mental illness, suicide awareness, sobriety, sharing what works. Because what works for me might not work for somebody else, but what works for somebody else might work for somebody else. And the more that we share all of our different tools, the more that nobody goes through life alone. The more that there's options out there, there's different things out there to try that can help us. So why not? I mean, that's what people helping people is all about. It's helping each other through our struggles of life, because we're not the only ones struggling. I mean, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't. Down below, I have links to my mental health communities that were created, and with a great community of peer-to-peer support. There's links down there to BetterHelp if you want to try online therapy, because especially if you're self-harming, you want to find out what those underlying triggers are, and even the underlying reasons, to see if you can't work through them. Sometimes we're scared just to go to the doctor. We'll try online therapy. Down below are also affiliate links to different tools that I use on Amazon. You know, if you want to go on there and you want fidget cubes and you want magnets and you want fidget spinners, you know, try it out. But don't give up, because you're worth it. You're worth that fight. I mean, it's a journey. It's a story for all of us. That's why I created a nonprofit organization called Driven Together. It bridges the gap between a crisis hotline and going to your therapist. What do we do in that in-between time? Well, giving all the tools, resources, support that we can helps people make it through those moments till you get to see your doctor again, or till you get your meds refilled again. Just remember that you're worth it, that you're a BAMF, that you're a badass motherfucker, that you've made it through 100% of your worst days to make it through 2 today, that you're stronger than the voices in your fucking head, and that you can make it out that front door. So don't ever forget that. Don't forget how amazing you are and how worth it you are. I mean, if you're struggling out there, reach out, get support. It makes a difference. Let's do this together.